Hi friends, welcome to today's lesson where we're going to create a piece of art that's inspired by Keith Haring and his sort of action figure drawings. Now if you haven't watched the other video where I talk about Keith Haring and his life and we read that book, then go watch that first and then come back here. But this work of art here was done by Keith Haring, and this is going to be our inspiration for today's assignment. So I'm going to talk really quickly about some things that you're going to need. You'll need some kind of glue stick, glue, whatever you have. I guess you could use tape if it comes to it. You'll also need a pair of scissors. You will need some kind of black marker or black crayon or something, and a pencil to draw with. And then I have some markers here, but you could also use colored pencils or crayons. I have some plain white paper that I've cut in half so it's a little bit smaller. I have some half sheets of different colors of construction paper, which if you don't have colored paper, we'll talk about how you can work around that in a minute. And then I have a full-size sheet of white paper that's going to be where I create my artwork. So those are the things we need. And the first thing we're going to do to get started is do a practice drawing, because we need to learn how to draw one of these Keith Haring style dancing guys. So I'm going to use my Sharpie, and you can draw along with me. This one's just for practice. So when you're starting your action figure guy, the first thing we're going to do is the head. And we're not going to make a circle, but we are going to make a curved line that comes around. And you'll notice it's not a circle because it doesn't close. It's a curved line. And the next thing we're going to do is make the tops of the arms. You'll notice in this example, these guys don't have necks, so we're just going to go straight off of their head with some arms. And maybe I'll bring one of them out, and the other one I'll just bring straight down. Now the next thing we're going to do is make some little dots where, basically where our guy's armpit would go. And then from those dots we're going to come straight down, and that's going to be both the torso and the leg. And this guy, I'll bring this leg out like that. So now we're going to finish the arm first, I think. We'll come down like this. The great thing about Keith Haring is that there are no fingers to worry about. We'll just put kind of like a fist down here where the arm is, and we'll connect that up. Over here, maybe I want his arm to come up a little bit, and I'll come out and then up and make that round shape for the fist and connect there. Now I will do the legs. This one I'll bring straight down, and again, we don't have to worry about feet so much, just a kind of a round shape there works. And then this one will come down, come straight over and a curve down, and then we'll connect these two lines with a straight line. And there is your basic Keith Haring action drawing. But you will notice here in our example, all those little lines, those movement lines that really make it look like those guys are moving around. So maybe he's shaking his fists. Maybe he's jumping up. And sometimes Keith Haring would even put those lines around the person's head like that. So there's our practice drawing. And now we're going to move on to creating the the design that we want to do in our final piece of art. So you can pick one here that you would like to copy. You can pause the video and look at it and draw it, or you can draw along with me, or feel free to go online and check out some of Keith Haring's other artworks to maybe get an idea of what you want your action figure to look like. So I'm going to grab a new sheet of paper, and I'm still going to use white paper here. And I think I'm going to make this guy on the end. So again, I'm going to start with the head, which is not a circle, but more of a curved line that comes up and doesn't close down. We don't need to do the neck. We'll just bring those arm lines straight out from the side of the head. And this one is going to come up like that. Now I'm going to make the lines, the little dots, sorry, where his arms are going to come in and meet his body. And then I'm going to bring it straight down and straight down. This guy's got one leg kicked out like that, and this other one is over here. There's one leg. There's two legs. I'm going to connect them up right there. And now I'm going to finish with the arms. So this guy's arm is going to come out and then come down a little bit. And this one is going to come straight up here and over like this. I'm going to fix this up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to cut them out. So grab some scissors and get to work. This is kind of a good opportunity where if you feel like you made a line or a shape that's a little bit thicker or fatter than what you would have liked, you can kind of adjust your lines a little bit while you're cutting out. Adjust just a little bit here. Come over, get the head. So this particular little action figure dude is not himself going to be in my finished artwork piece. What I've just done is I've made a tracer. And so now I can take my colored paper and I'm going to make some copies of him to add into my finished artwork. So you could use construction paper here if you have it. If not, another choice would be if you did the bubble art, you could use some of your printed paper from that. Or if you want to, you could take some plain copy paper, and I would probably trace and cut out first, but you could always just take some different colored crayons and color your guy in pretty quickly like that. You could do it with a colored pencil. That doesn't take too much time. Or if you have markers, it's kind of easy even to sort of make yourself a quick pattern and fill up your paper that way. And then you could put your tracer over that, or you could color it once you've already traced. Either way. But I'm going to go ahead and use this construction paper because I do have it on hand. I put my tracer right there. I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to trace him. All right, and you'll notice he looks a little bit different because we don't have those extra lines coming in here, but don't worry about that right now. We're going to fill those in later. So you can trace and cut yours out one at a time because we need at least 2 or 3 of these dudes. You could go up to 4. And if you've got a pretty good pair of scissors, then I'm just going to trace once and keep my paper stacked up and cut out all 3 guys at the same time. Try to save a little bit of time that way. You just got to be careful. You keep a hold on your paper so that it doesn't move around while you're cutting. Almost done. All right, and now I have 3 little action dudes to go in my final artwork. I'm going to clear my scraps out of the way, and I'm going to grab my piece of paper that I'm going to get my finished artwork on. And now I'm going to try to decide on the composition of my piece. So composition just means the way things are laid out on the paper. So I could just line my guys up all in a row, one right after another. Or I could flip one of them over to make things a little different. Oh, they're holding hands. Or this guy, maybe he's down here, like breakdancing. That was an inspiration in Keith Haring's artwork. Or he could be upside down. There's just a lot of different ways that you could arrange things on your paper to create your work of art. I think I'm going to go with that. That looks kind of cool. So your next step is going to be to glue down your composition. And I really wish I could find a glue stick, but I can't. So I'm going to use this clear glue. I'm going to try not to put too much because I don't want it coming out all over the place. There's one. And 2. And 3. All right, so now I'm going to take my black marker, or, you know, whatever you have that's black, and I'm going to, again, kind of trace around the outside of these guys so that they look like they've got that nice black outline. And while I'm over here on the head, I can go ahead and make those extra lines there to give him back that shape that he lost when we traced. So take a few minutes and get your action figures traced with this nice thick black line. Because if you remember in our example, Keith Haring used that thick black outline. Okay, now that I have the outline, I'm going to go through and I'm going to put some of those movement lines in. I'm going to put some of these lines down here so it looks like they're kind of jumping up. There we go. Now comes the fun part. I'm going to take some markers and I'm going to fill in my background space. And the way that I'm going to do that is by adding some cool sort of echo lines and some doodly lines. This is really fun if you get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is create an echo line. So I'm going to come around and basically I'm going to retrace my guys, but I'm going to leave a little bit of space there around them. I'm going to leave some space around their movement lines too. And now I'm going to do some doodling and fill in this space with lots of different sort of patterns and lines. So maybe I'll come around my echo line for this guy, my yellow guy, and do a spiky line. And then I'll choose another color. Maybe this guy has a bumpy design, curved lines. And over here, maybe I'll do another echo line that's kind of in between those with the curvy, wavy. And so you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Come up with your own ideas to fill in this space. You can do stripes, you can do circles, lots of shapes and patterns. And so even though there is still some white space in between, I'm starting to really fill in with like the overall white space with these different patterns and lines. So I hope you have fun exploring the different patterns and lines and doodling to finish your Keith Haring action figure drawing. You could even remember Keith Haring was inspired by street art and beat dancing. We could do, break dancing. Maybe we'll draw in a boombox here at the top. And add in a couple music notes. So if you want to add in some details like that, go for it. All right. And there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and learned a lot about Keith Haring and made your own cool Keith Haring action figures. And I'll see you later. Bye.